Hello everyone, Dave here back with another video. Today we're getting back to the roots, alright? As you can see, pretty big anime fan. Love anime, love all that stuff. Haven't done an anime video in a while, nor have I done a manga related video, and that's going to change today. We're, like I said, getting back to our roots a little bit here. And that is with the first part of my review, very light review, mainly just kind of a discussion and an overview and my thoughts of Jujutsu Kaisen. I just got out of quarantine. Today was my first day back to work, so I'm very happy about that. I got COVID right as the year ended, so it was fun to do that. But it did give me the opportunity to check out a lot of anime that I had been missing or not able to watch just because of busyness. And one of those was Jujutsu Kaisen. And I really liked it. I thought it was great. And today, overall, let me just go through my notes real quick. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arcs throughout the show, throughout the 26 episodes, I believe. 24 episodes, sorry. So I'm going to be doing 3 videos and covering 2 arcs apiece. And again, it's a very light review. I don't have the ability to edit right now. I can't splice in any footage. I just took some notes as I went through and watched each arc. And I just want to talk about it and express my opinions. And for anybody who hasn't gotten around to watching Jujutsu Kaisen, maybe this will be a video to help be like, hey, you should watch it, because it's pretty good. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So first, the show kicks off with what they called, or at least what I saw was called the introduction arc, which is episodes 1 through 3. So basically we start out with Yuji Itadori. He's got a couple buddies. He's part of this like occult club, and it reminded me a little bit of Mob Psycho in the beginning, because Mob becomes a part of his occult club, and it really didn't want to be there. Just kind of happened to be there because his skill set, his lack of fear really helped the other kids in the club. And same thing with Itadori. He even says, you guys just, like, I forget exactly how he puts it, but he says, I'm here just because you guys get scared a lot. And it made me think of Mob Psycho, and just the fact that there's some, a lot of comedic elements, some pop culture references, made me immediately equate, at least the beginning, to Mob Psycho, which anything that relates to Mob Psycho is fine in my book, 'cause that show's great. So it starts out and they're just kind of exploring the occult things around their town or around the school, and until they find this like finger that belongs to the bad guy. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Sorry, I'm not gonna. I'm bad with names, and I have the wiki up here be like to reference, but I that's just gonna waste time. So you guys know the bad guy, and if you don't know the bad guy, watch the show. But they have this like bad guy's finger, and they unwrap it, and it causes these like spirits to come through, and so up until then, I have here, it had a nice mix of slice of life / some sports elements, because there was this competition where Itadori was going up against the teacher. I believe they were doing shot put. It's been a little bit since I watched it, so if I get any details wrong, my apologies. But obviously, I wasn't really up to making a video while I was quarantining, and then I've been trying to get back to life. So it's been a minute since I've been able to actually sit down and make the video. But anyway, so these occult kind of demons start coming through, and then we meet Fujiguro. Is that his name? I think so. And and he comes in and kind of helps Itadori fight off these guys, but then it kind of comes to a point where Itadori has to like eat this finger to unlock this power so that he can like kind of protect his friends. And I put that down. And Itadori is a likable character who cares about his friends. He stays in the occult club to protect them, which is the thing I mentioned earlier. And he also brings flowers for the nurses. His grandfather in the beginning is in the hospital, and he brings flowers for the nurses to like thank them for taking care of his grandpa. And I just like that. I like when a character is relatable. Even in this crazy world where all these like demons and stuff are happening, it's nice to have like a semblance of realism to be like, oh, this kid is actually pretty cool. He's pretty grounded. So that, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoy Itadori as a character because, there have been many in anime where the main character is just super unlikable. And it makes it very, very hard to like get into the show. Attack on Titan. I'm not even going to cover that with a cough. Attack on Titan. I hate Eren Yeager, and it makes it super, super hard to get into that show. I'm actually super glad it's ending because I want to be done with that show. Anyway, so some more stuff happens, and as they're fighting, I've noticed that it's great fighting animation, and choreography. That's another thing that, like, the animation is great, but the fighting choreography, like, it almost seems like they maybe consulted a martial artist, or like, just like, I don't know, looked at different martial arts movies or whatever, because nobody's doing anything like crazy to the point where it's like, it doesn't look unnatural. Like the moves are fluid when they go from, one attack to another, a block to a punch to whatever. It's very fluid, and I like that. And it really stands out. As being not only two guys just butting heads, but like a very kind of back and forth, combat scenario. I also wrote down really great comedic timing. I don't know why I wrote that down twice. I mean, I put comedy on, in the first point, but I guess I just wanted to, being a comedian myself, I do enjoy when an anime can not only be funny, but also have good humor and good, comedic timing. It can be, a little offset when a scene is put just with the intention of being funny, and a lot of times it works, but sometimes it's just like, oh, that didn't really land. But it's nice to see that the writers kind of understood like when is the proper time to make a joke, things like that. You guys get comedic timing. I don't need to explain that to you. The characters seem to have pretty good chemistry. I know Itadori and Kugisaki. I have to have it up because, again, I'm bad with names, and also I hope the pronunciation is right. But they meet her a little bit later, and they kind of butt heads a little bit. But all in all, like, they seem to gel pretty well as a friend group and as a unit, and it kind of is, it's nice to see, buddies being buddies. I always like that. I love slice of life type moments where, even though, you're going up against demons or whatever, you still have opportunities to just shoot the shit and, be friends and whatever. So I really like that. The OST is great soundtrack, great intro. And then this was another point that I really liked. I really thought it was interesting how the curses play off of like being normal people. They're not just like, I guess I did call them demons or like, occult whatever before, which they are. But what am I trying to say? Like in the beginning, they would have these normal people, because that's what happened, is they were normal people that got corrupted, or at least that's what I think happened. but you would have like a demon saying, "What time is it?" And just repeating, "What time is it? What time is it?" Or like, "Would you like a receipt? Would you like a receipt?" And I thought that was, in a way, very, very, not disturbing, but very jarring. Like, I think a little more jarring than if they were just like a random demon that just did a shriek or, yelled or whatever. It shows that at the end of the day, like I said, these were normal people that were just like corrupted by this force or whatever. So overall, the first 3 episodes of the introduction arc, very, very good, very good intro. It when you have a shorter anime, that's only 24 episodes. Now, I don't know if they're doing a season 2. I assume they will with how popular it is. But it didn't like outright say, like on Wikipedia usually, not that Wikipedia is like the end all be all when it comes to stuff, but usually it'll be like, ongoing, or it just will have like a, start date to present, but this has a start and end date. So this very well could be the 24 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen and that's it. So where was I going? So 24 episodes, it's very easy to put that all in and have it paced well, especially in comparison to a longer anime where you have more time, and sometimes it starts out a little slow. But this started out right from the gate, very intriguing, very interesting. And at this point, I was like, oh, I really want to watch more. And I'm very excited to watch more. So that carries us into episodes 4 and 5, the Cursed Womb arc. So first off, they finally gave a rundown on the grades and what they mean, like certain grades of demons, which they had mentioned previously up to that point, which I wasn't quite sure what that meant, but they finally kind of, mentioned it. And it made me think of another property by the mangaka One. I talked about Mob Psycho earlier, but now it made me think of One Punch Man, how the monsters and the villains and that show have grades and everything, and it made me kind of reminiscent of that. So not that I'm comparing the two, like saying one is better, or like I'm not saying like Jujutsu Kaisen took this from One Punch Man or anything. Like the idea of grading or rating villains is not a foreign concept. But it's nice to watch an anime and have something recognizable to be like, oh, okay, I understand that. I get what that means. And then I put, it was nice to see more of Itadori wanting to save everyone. There was a mother outside of the prison that was like, hey, it was like either a prison or like a juvenile center or something like that. I think just a regular prison. But she was like, hey, my son's in there. Can you help him? And it just is another kind of show of Itadori's character, and another reason why I immediately really liked him is he said, yeah, I'm going to save him. I'm going to do it. And meanwhile, everybody's like, dude, there's this demon. Like, everybody's probably dead or evacuated. Like, there's nothing, And he said, no, I'm going to save him. We're going to save everybody. And then then they found him, and unfortunately, slight spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched it. Sorry, my computer turned off. That's weird. Slight spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched it. The guy, unfortunately, is dead. But he was like, okay, well, we got to at least bring the body back. We got to, and, Fushiguro was like, dude, no, we're trying to fucking kill this demon here. We don't have the time for that. And Itadori's like, no, I can't leave this dude here. We have to bring him back. So it really just shows like his character, and I think so far he's becoming my favorite character. I know it's a little basic to say, oh, my favorite character is the main character. But at this point, he was kind of becoming my favorite character because I liked him, and I like his drive, and I like his passion, and I like how he kind of took on this role of, because at this point he had, started eating more of the fingers of that bad guy, because they were like, hey, we need to get this guy, and you got to eat all the fingers, got to harness the power, and eventually we're gonna kill you, possibly. So yeah. and it was cool to see him kind of take on that role and be, and kind of take that in stride and be like, you know what, fuck it. I mean, I gotta help people, and if it means I die, it means I die. Another point was probably one of the better fights so far was a really good fight between, I can't even read my own writing, Sakura, is that his name? And Fushiguro. A very clever use of Fushiguro Shikigami, which are like kind of like summons, I guess, if I'm, saying that correctly. He's got like this bird one and then these dogs and stuff. And I just thought, again, going back to what I said earlier about the fighting choreography being really cool, because the way that they kind of tied and wove this whole fight together, like where he gets kicked up in a building, but then he uses his Shikigami and the bird like grabs him and then like brings him down, but then also like kind of shields him and stuff. It's a little hard to explain without actually having you watch it, but it's very cool. And again, kind of, reinforced my thought that like, wow, they really planned out these fights. They really executed them well. It's not just, as much as I love Dragon Ball and sometimes the fucking fast fists are cool. But I feel like that's almost an animation cop-out to be like, oh, wow, they're moving so fast we can barely see them. But like, it's nice to have actual fights planned out with motion and rhythm. And it's just very cool to see. What the fuck did I write? I can't even read my own handwriting. I'm so bad. Oh, okay. This was a fucking bar. I think Maki Zenin said it. The guy with the blindfold. Is that who it is? I'm so bad with names. I'm so sorry. I think either way. But I think he said it. He said the only, what the fuck did I write? I'm going to paraphrase because I can't read my own handwriting and I'm so sorry that I'm just wasting time. The only, fairness granted to all is an unfair reality. So the only equality granted to all is an unfair reality, which is just a bar, dude. I don't really have much else to say about that. I just wrote that quote down because I was like, that's really good writing, and that's just the very interesting quote, and something that really I paused it for a second and I was like, damn, that's like actually kind of true. Like, the only equality granted to all is an unfair reality. And I know I'm paraphrasing because I can't read my own writing, but if you've seen the show, you know what that is. Yeah. So anyway, so I did have, cause I don't want to come out here. I mean, it's a great show. I mean, and at this point I was like, man, this is really good. And I don't want to come out here though and be like, sucking its dick the entire time. So there was one slight problem I had, at least when it came to this arc, and I think is kind of a detriment of having it be while, like I said earlier, while having a faster paced show is good in a lot of cases, it also can lead to instances, like I wrote down, it seemed to move a little fast. Like, I think by the end of episode 4 or 5, I kind of forgot why they were there in the first place. They were there to investigate this giant womb, which I guess is why they call it the cursed womb arc, but it was this like fetal sac that appeared in the air, and they were there to investigate it, and then the demon, I guess, came out or whatever, which they didn't really show that part either, so I kind of forgot why that thing was there, and that could just be me being stupid, but they get there, they're doing some stuff, and then this fight happens later on, and it's like, wait a minute, why are we here again? Oh yeah, the giant baby in the sky. But it's like, what happened to that? Where did it go? Oh wait, that's the thing that they're fighting, is it? I don't know. And I fully admit that it just could be me, but it seemed, at least in a little bit of the episodes, like going from 4 into 5, the pacing just seemed a little too fast in that instance. But 100% could just be me missing something. But yeah, so that's kind of the points I put about the first two arcs, the introduction and the Cursed Womb arc. I hope that this was at least somewhat enjoyable. I know I ramble. I don't really write scripts for my videos, which I probably should. But in this case, I wanted it to be just kind of a fluid discussion, instead of just like following a pre-written thing. So unfortunately, when I don't have stuff written down, I ramble and I just talk and I stutter and I fall over my own words. So apologies for that. I know that can be a little annoying. So feel free to roast me in the comments on that. But all in all, I, at this point so far, am really loving Jujutsu Kaisen. In the next video, I will talk about the Curse Training arc, which is episodes 6 through 8, and the Versus Mahito arc. Mahito, which is episodes 9 through 13. So I will film that soon, and I will get that out to you guys. Just a thank you to anyone who's watching. I'm really trying to take YouTube a little more seriously in 2022. Really would like to build a following, maybe based off anime, maybe based off any one of my other fucking interests and things that I put on this mess of a channel. But if you're here, I appreciate it. Parts 2 and 3 will be coming very shortly. I would say probably sometime this week. So thank you again very much. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.